Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. How am I joined by today?
Ayo, I haven't been here in forever.
Hi, forever. I'm John. But this is a new series, new 2022, new series, new everything. And today, what's the series called, then, Deacon?
Messed Up Murder Monday on a Saturday.
Yep, that's it. I just thought of this. This is more of a pilot episode. If it does well, then we're going to do an episode 2, then just ground this into the ground until people hate it.
Which will never happen.
Yeah, because it's going to be Messed Up Murder Monday. But can you explain what the first murder is then?
So today we will be talking about the Hinterkaifeck murders.
Yes, which occurred. I can hear an echo.
Where from?
You?
Can you still hear it?
No, I don't know. Nope, can't.
Okay. They occurred. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you speak. You speak in front.
Well, the murders happened March 31st of 1922.
In which six occupied people of the house, located 70 kilometers north of
Munich,
Germany, they were murdered by an unknown assailant. 6 victims were Andre. Was it Andre? Do you say the names?
Andreas Gruber, Kazia Gruber, I believe. Their widowed daughter Victoria Gabrielle, and Victoria's children Kazia and Joseph. The maid.
Not from Wikipedia page, are we?
I mean, kind of. But no, we're not reading Wikipedia. The maid Maria Baumgartner was also found.
Not the person who done skydive.
Might be related to the person.
They might actually, because he was German as well, I think, wasn't he?
Maybe.
We'll look into it later. So, the farm was built around 1863. Less than a year after the murders and after the murders investigation, the farm was completely demolished, revealing additional evidence. The Macots, do you know the thing what murdered them? Hidden in the attic, and a penknife in a hay bale barn. So, do you want to carry on? So, on the afternoon of the 31st of March 1922, so actually 100 years ago nearly.
Yeah.
It is actually 100, because January through March in like 4 months.
3
months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So, Friday, March 31st, 1922, the new maid, Maria Baumgartner, arrived at the farm. Maria's sister had escorted her there and left the farm after a short stay. She was most likely the last person to see any of them alive. It appears that in the late evening, Victoria and her 7-year-old daughter, Kazia, as well as her parents, Andreas and Kazia, were lured into the family barn and were murdered, one at a time. The perpetrator or perpetrators used a mattock belonging to the family farm and killed the family with blows to the head.
A mattock being an axe-like thing, but doesn't chop it and more breaks up into little pieces.
Yeah.
The perpetrators moved into the living quarters where, with the same murder weapon, so that mattock, they killed, killed Joseph, sleeping in his bassinet, basically a cot, and the maid in her bedchamber. Discovery now. 4 days passed between the murders and the discovery of the bodies. On April 1st, people must have thought it was an April Fool's joke. A coffee seller, Hans something or other, and someone else arrived at the Hinterkaifeck to take an order. When one reported,
no one responded.
No one responded to the knock on the door and window. They walked around to the yard, but found no one. They only noticed that the gate to the machine house was open
Yeah.
before they decided to leave. Kazila was absent without excuse for the next few days of school, and the family failed to show up for Sunday worship, basically church.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
I said,
Assemble.
assembler.
Where do you read this bit?
Okay, can we say it?
Yeah. Assembler Albert
Albert Hofner, I believe.
went
Winter
to speak.
went to went to Hinterkaifeck on April 4th to repair the engine of the food chopper. He stated that he had not seen any of the family and had heard nothing but the sounds of the farm animals and the dog inside the barn. After waiting for an hour, he started his repair, which he completed in roughly 4.5 hours. Around 3:30 p.m., Lorenz, I'm not going to say that, sent his son Johann and stepson Josef to Hinterkaifeck to see if they could make contact with the family. When they reported that they did not see anyone, he then headed to the farm the same day with Michael Pohl and Jacob Sigel. Entering the barn, they found the bodies of Andreas, his wife Kazia, his daughter and granddaughter, murdered in the barn. Shortly after, they found the chambermaid and the youngest family member murdered in the home.
So now going on to investigation. Inspector George, not going to read that word because it's long, and his colleagues from the Munich Police Department, so basically the police department in the local area, investigated the killings. Internal investigations were hampered by a number of people who had interrupted with the crime scene, moved bodies and items around, and even cooked and ate meat in the kitchen. That's great.
Yep.
The day after the discovery of the bodies, Count?
Court physician Johann Baptist Amuller.
Yep, performed the autopsies in the barn. It was established that a mattock was the most likely murder weapon, through the thought the weapon itself was not at the scene. Evidence, sorry, showed that the younger Kazila had been alive for several hours after the incident, so she survived the attack but died from her injuries then.
Holy shit.
Yeah. She had torn her hair out in tufts whilst lying in the straw.
Yeah.
The skulls of the victims were removed and sent to Munich, where they went further
Examined.
The police first suspected the motive to be robbery, and they interrogated traveling craftsmen and several inhabitants from the surrounding village. When a large amount of money was found in the house, they abandoned this theory. So basically, they first thought it was robbery, but then when they found a large amount of money in the barn, they thought, no, it can't be because there's money.
Why would you kill someone, stay in their house for 3 days, and not take the money?
We don't know that, do we yet? If they stayed in the house for 3 days, not got into that.
Oops, sorry. Oops.
It was clear the perpetrator (S), so perpetrators, had remained at the farm for several days. Don't read ahead, Dick 1. Someone had fed the cattle, eaten the entire supply of bread from the kitchen, and had recently cut meat from the pantry. Basically, they've been there real recently. The last few hours.
Hold up. Do you want me to read this next part? Because there's a really big word.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the
Okay. With no clear motive to be gleaned from the crime scene, the police began to formulate a list of suspects. Despite repeated arrests, no murderer was ever found, and the files were closed in 1955. Nevertheless, the interrogations took place in 1986 before criminal Hauptkommissar Konrad Mueller retired.
Basically, that's a long-ass Russian name.
German.
German. Yeah, it might be Russian, because that looks Russian to me.
Oh. This takes place in Germany, though, so I'm going to trust German.
Yeah, but I'm Polish, part Polish, and I'm in England. In the investigation records of the court commission, it was noted that the victims were probably drawn to the barn by restlessness in the stable. Basically, the cattle was making noise, so they went down there and make sure everything was okay, resulting in noise from the animals. A later attempt, however, revealed that at least human streams from the barn could be.
They're pretty much saying that you couldn't hear many animal noises, but you could hear human screams.
Oh, okay. On the night after the crime, 3 days before the bodies were discovered, the
artisan
Michael Sumrather happened to pass by Hinterkaifeck, basically the farm. This person observed that the oven had been heated by someone. The person had approached him with a lantern and blinded him. Whereupon he hastily continued on his way. This person also noted that the smoke from the fireplace had a disgusting smell. The
instance
was not investigated, and there was no investigation. Was that investigations?
Yes. Conducted to determine
what had been burnt that night in the oven. On April 1st at 3 a.m., the farmer and butcher Simon.
What the fuck?
That's got a weird B. It's a German B.
Reblander?
Yeah, go on with that. On the way home from near
Vernon,
saw 2 unknown figures on the edge of the forest. Where the strangers saw him, they turned around so that their faces could not be seen. Later, when he heard of the murders in Hinterkaifeck, he thought it possibly that the strangers might be involved. In the middle of May 1927, a stranger was said to have stopped a
resident of Wadehofen, or Hofen.
At midnight, he asked him questions about the murder, and they shouted,
Shouted that he was the murderer.
Before he ran into the woods. The stranger was never identified. So do you want to read next? Actually, let's have a look.
Just a bunch of suspects.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a bit what I know about this. Do you know the first man who was on the scene? He knew his way around the farm really well, and no one else ever knew how to get around that farm. Do you know, like rooms inside the farmstead? He knew where every single room was, and he knew exactly where to go to get to a certain room. Suspicious much?
Very.
So what do you think happened?
Well, I'm going to assume that based off the fact no one was ever arrested for it, that none of these suspects are the killer. So,
are you saying an outsider of the town done it?
most likely.
Or it could be the police officer I just mentioned,
Right.
who knew about his way around. Only the murderer would know the way around.
Exactly. Plus the fact that they stayed for a couple days, which they don't really mention in this article, but we do know they stayed for a couple days.
I know that. Yeah,
Means they probably didn't have a house, or they didn't have somewhere to go home to.
But this police officer was known to the family as well.
Yeah.
So that's how he might have got in as well.
Right.
Because it wasn't forced entry. There's no forced entry whatsoever. It was knowingly let in. So it must have been known by the family. But then you can't investigate it now anymore. You cannot use any new evidence because the bodies went missing back in the 50s, I think. It says later on down here.
I mean,
I think.
Seeing as they chopped off the heads and sent them to a different city, I would assume there's not much you can do now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The bodies have gone missing. I think it was.
In 2007, 15 students at the police academy examined
Midnight.
the case.
It's New Year.
Hey, yo!
It's New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's New Year in Britain. Sorry, I just forgot. I just hear a load of fireworks. Shit! It's New Year.
In 2007, 15 students of the police academy, and I'm not going to say that, examined the case using modern criminal investigation techniques. In their final report, they confirmed the meticulousness of the investigation at the time, but criticized the lack of professional forensics. In particular, the failure to take fingerprints was criticized, as that was already common practice at the time. Though it is almost certain the murderers can no longer be identified, all authors of the report independently agreed on who the main suspect in the case was. However, his name was not mentioned out of consideration for his descendants.
So, what do you think happened there? Do you think it was one person, two people, three?
I'm gonna assume it was two people.
And why do you say two?
Because they mentioned earlier that someone said he noticed Michael Polk. I'm gonna go with that. He was passing by.
Michael Polk? Wasn't Michael Polk a famous writer?
No idea. But this person was passing by when someone came out with a lantern and put it in his face so he couldn't see. And he also noticed that someone was heating up the oven. So I'm just going to assume that there was someone heating up the oven while the other guy was going to get everyone else away. I'm going to assume there was one of them.
Sense. That makes sense. And then, they saying that they were in the house recently. When that person went to do the repairs on that machine, those realised, shit, he's here. Right, let's just wait for a minute. Because they might go like the children did. And like the other people, they might go and leave within a matter of minutes. Right. Then they realised, no, he's staying here doing repairs. Should we murder him? He's like, no, as he works somewhere, he works for the town, they'll miss him straight away. And then they'll track back to where he went, and then they'll find the other bodies. So what we'll do is fuck off and get rid of any evidence, but be quiet. That's what I think happened. But if anyone has any other theories, comment down below. I'm always up for people's theories.
No, okay. The guy who went to do repairs, he was there after they left.
Yeah, but the people may have been there at the exact same time. Do you know, he may have got there, then they may have seen him about. Yeah.
Because it says that like most investigators think that the murders were in the house for 3 days afterwards. Well, the murders happened the morning or the night of March 31st, the morning of April 1st. The repairman got there on April 4th. So they probably left because he showed up. They probably left because he was there for so long.
That's what I'm saying. He might have left because he was there for so long.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If he had just gone in, didn't hear anything from it and left, they may have stayed there longer.
Right.
I think a movie got made about Hinterkaifeck as well. You know,
I'm gonna check real quick.
It's a German thing. Sorry.
Yeah, Kaifek Murder, a 2009 film.
Yeah, I've been trying to find an English dub, but I've not been able to find one. Full movie. There's a German thing. Yeah, it's German. Not been able to find an English dub or English thing. It's a really fascinating thing if you actually investigate it. Everyone, go check it out if you want. But anyone, this is the first video of 2022 as well.
By the way, the movie has a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is it shit?
Yes.
Maybe that's why they've not done an English dub or subtitles it. Maybe that's why there's no English version. Would you want to say anything for end the video, Deacon?
Have a happy 2022, and if you enjoy, what was it, Messed Up Murder Mondays on a Saturday?
Messed
Please.
Up Murder Monday.
Messed Up Murder Monday, but this one's on a Saturday. Please leave a like and let us know how you feel.
And don't forget to subscribe. Please don't unsubscribe. But goodbye. Can I say anything?
Peace out.